Today then is Andrew Hazlett from Yotta, speaking to Yotta Tag, a mass fatality tracking system. Andrew?
Hi, good morning from California. My name is Andrew Hazlett. I work at Yotta Navigation. The item we're talking about today is a tracking tag for a mass casualty incident, mass fatality tracking system. We are, so our use case, as you see in the background, is the Surfside building collapse. Keep going here.
Andrew, you need to take control.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'm in business now. Okay. What we're trying to address here is when there's a mass casualty incident, where were the human remains found? What information was just discovered with the human remains, such as an ID on the person or any other identifiable information? Where are the remains in real time, and who has access to the data? The baseline technology right now, the baseline technology right now is the standard gear that you have in urban search and rescue kits. There's a ton of gear with urban search and rescue teams. One of them is the triage tag. When there's a mass fatality incident, mass casualty incident right now, what's happening is there's urban search and rescue teams that find human remains, they tag them, they report it to the medical examiner team, and there's a handoff between the urban search and rescue teams and the medical examiner. So because we're working across two teams, the information has to be passed from the urban search and rescue teams to the medical examiner. And the way that's done right now is a disjointed method using the paper triage tags, such as you see on the bottom left, screenshots from your iPhone, coordinates written down on paper, anything that the urban search and rescue teams have to use, they'll use right now. But there's no unified solution to there's no unified technology that is a one-stop product for the tagging of the human remains that will track them the entire time that they're out in the field, from the field to the morgue. So this disjointed solution of paper tags and screenshots and coordinates, it's difficult to keep organized. It's hard to know where the remains have been in the past. If there's no if there's no cellular data available at the scene due to a natural disaster, there might not be good communication over the cellular network. So this is really a problem right now, just for keeping organized at the mass fatality incidents. The customer requirements, we are working with Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, the urban search and rescue teams are working with our FEMA contacts. This is what they're interested in having, is an environmentally sealed tag, waterproof, dustproof, something that can get zipped up in the body bag, 30-day battery life. So it gets, when the urban search and rescue team finds the human remains, they're going to tag it with a device. They want that device to last 30 days. So that'll be from when it's tagged to when it's collected by the medical examiner team. It may be staged at the scene for a while they're collecting all of the human remains, and then it'll go to the morgue. And they want to have a record of where those human remains were the entire time during the process, and that process can take up to 30 days. For the GPS reporting, the requirement is hourly GPS location reporting, and they want that GPS position to be at a 3-foot accuracy outdoors, and the best it can be indoors. But there is a technology limitation with GPS where the accuracy is not as good indoors, but we do our best for getting an accurate position. And then one of the most important things that we don't have now when you're using cell phone data and maybe just email or notes is that there needs to be personal identifiable information protected and security, because this information can't be released. You don't want media or third parties having access to what's going on at a mass casualty incident. it can compromise the situation. A lot of the other tracking tags on the market sell your data or host their data on their own server, and this is one of the requirements that a custom-built solution can meet, that other solutions can't. Okay. So our solution is the Yotta tag. This is an environmentally sealed GPS tracking tag. There's localization for human remains down to that 3-foot accuracy outdoors. This tracking tag has a pull tab. You pull the tab, it enables this GPS tracking tag. The GPS tracking tag reports its position every hour to a cloud server, and then there's a UI that you can access the current position of all the tags that are deployed. You can look at the history of where the tags have been. If there's no cellular service, then the tag can just buffer the data until there is cellular service, and then it can report all of the positions that it has had in the past. So in the case of the Maui wildfires, it took a few days to get cellular service, and if that was the case, I can't remember, maybe about 48 hours of no cellular service. When the cellular service came back, this tag can report to the cellular towers where it's been in the past 2 days. This tag, when it's deployed by itself or when it's deployed by the hundreds, if there's a lot of human remains to find, gives scene overviews. So the medical examiner can see where all of the human remains have been in the past. They can piece things together to figure out, to try to identify the victims, to have more information about what's happened. It's a unified solution that shows you everything possible that has happened. We have in-vehicle detection. We can tell when you're in a car. We have the location history. You can upload any pictures to the cloud server when you deploy the tag, so that you can have pictures of where the human remains were found. We'll get to the questions after. Okay, I'll show you guys a picture of the UI next. This is the UI that goes with the tag. So you deploy the tag. In this example here, I'm recording information every 5 minutes. It's configurable for how often you would like a GPS solution, so it can be changed from 1 hour to 5 minutes if you're testing or have different requirements for your scene. It's just a software configuration. So in this example, we pull the tab, we activate the device, and then every 5 minutes it reports its position. And this is a driving test. The UI that you see here, what happens is the tag reports to a cloud server. The cloud server is accessible by the UI that we created, or it can be accessible by third-party tools. There's a REST API, and the data is available securely to be accessed by a variety, any program that you'd like to integrate this with. We have our own UI. It helps us debug. It helps us demonstrate our technology. The UI that we're using is a web application. You can access it on a computer or on your phone or on a tablet. So you can see on the bottom is what the maps look like. You can switch to satellite imagery where you can see down to 1 meter images. 1 meter, like you can see the outline of a car, for example. You can run it on your phone, and then there's a lot of buttons to show different levels of history data and other things that you'd be interested in seeing. So in the history of mass fatality incidents in the US, we estimate that you need about 2,000 of these devices deployed in the beginning to get these in the hands of all of the major urban search and rescue teams in the US. The first year, they should have at least a 5-year lifespan, but we're still working out exactly how long the lifespan will be. But you won't need to replace them every year, so therefore there'll be a less number that you'll need to replace every year. So the volume of these tags will be rather low for a mass fatality tracking system. And we have a $50 cost target to manufacture these devices for DHS and FEMA. To meet that target, we need to average the costs over tens of thousands of devices. So we are aiming this technology to be dual use, And the application we found for to be dual use is the trucking industry. So the trucking industry, moving trailers in a trailer lot, as you see in the bottom right, is very similar to the requirements for an outdoor mass fatality incident, where the tags have to be environmentally sealed. They have to be able to handle the elements. They have to report their position at regular intervals. They have to be accurate because the loading bays of these trucks are only going to be a few meters away from each other. So you need to know which bay you're in. And this is an excellent application that can provide a high volume application for us. That in turn lets us get the cost for each individual device low, because we're averaging the cost across tens of thousands of units instead of thousands of units. As for a competitive landscape, there are other tracking tags. DHS did a study, a competitive study, to see what other technologies are out there. The thing that comes to mind is the Apple AirTag. The Apple AirTag, the issues that the Apple AirTag has in doing this kind of for this kind of work is that it's not protecting identifiable information. The Apple AirTag is going to an Apple server. It can be accessed by people if they have access to the account. It's passive. Apple AirTag doesn't report its position. It requires that phones are nearby in order to record the position. It's dependent on that. So if there's no phones in the vicinity of the AirTag, you can't see what's going on with that AirTag. It needs to have people nearby, and they need to be connected to the cell tower. It's not a self-contained solution. The other side of things is there's these mail tracking systems, such as the Hanhao Parslab, and the Roamby also. And these companies, they sell your data, so they own the data that they record, and they sell it as a product, a secondary product, and that's not acceptable with personally identifiable information. So we have a phase 2 SBIR project with Department of Homeland Security. We just finished up wrapping up a hardware delivery for DHS. We were at a TRL-6 functional prototypes. I have one in my hand, but my video is not working, so I can't show you, but I was planning on showing. We have, this isn't just a hardware product on its own. We have a cloud server that supports it. We have the cellular network, setting up the cellular network for it, and setting up SIM cards and SIM cellular plans. We have the UI that shows us the results at the end. So there really is a whole ecosystem that goes along with the hardware. Okay, I'll give you some information on our company. Yotta has been in operation for over 15 years. It was founded in 2006. We've done SBIRs for the Army, Navy, Air Force. We've had other contracts with the DoD. We specialize in human motion detection, and that enables indoor navigation. So that's one of the things that we can leverage, is indoor positioning that provides accurate position when you're inside a building or inside a parking garage. That's one of the things that we're building into the app in the second phase of this SBIR program. Personally, I'm the principal investigator, Andrew Hazlett. My background is aerospace engineering. I have 10 plus years experience. I've worked at major GPS companies. And then years ago, I was an EMT. I was a volunteer for a small agency in upstate New York, Treadwell, New York. Here are some of the examples of hardware that we've manufactured over the years. They're at the bottom for DoD applications. Yotta management team, we have an experienced team. Our CEO is experienced in government contracts. He's done this for decades and is very good at it. And then our chairman is experienced with Silicon Valley startups. He's had companies acquired. He's had a long history of business with the startups here in Silicon Valley. And then our CTO is a machine learning expert, and he's been working here for I think about 10 years now. also. For our product, I see all the questions coming in, but I've been trying to tune them out so I can focus on presenting. But we'll get to those after these questions here. The questions that I have for you guys is there any upcoming events that might support our field testing that you'd be interested in seeing these devices deployed at and being able to use them hands-on? Are there any features beyond a basic tracker that would be useful for you? And at what level incident would you deploy this technology? If it was just somebody, maybe human remains in the forest, would this be something you'd use and deploy, or would you only deploy this at a large-scale mass casualty incident? Okay, and lastly, here's our contact information. So if there's not enough time for the Q&A, please feel free to reach out to us.